Greetings and salutations, friends. My name is, of course, Charles Q. Banks, and I'd like to welcome you back to my series of discussion videos in black and white, which you can comment on and suggest a topic for me to talk about. So today I have, of course, my headache goggles on again, and I am ready to rock and roll. So I've been watching a lot of streams of video gamers and YouTubers recently who had at one point, or maybe still are, playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay, and I've never played Kingdom Hearts, and it's a huge release because there's been quite a long time since Kingdom Hearts came to consoles, or PC for that matter. They've been on handheld a lot of the time, but not on the big platforms. And so everyone had been playing it about a month ago when it came out, and it's available on PS4, which I have, and so they've been adding, for it, advertising for it really hard. And so watching these streams, it kind of made me want to play it. Of course, it kind of made me want to stay as far away as possible from it as well. But it's bringing up that old nostalgia where I'd be walking as a child through Walmart or basically any store and see advertisements and banners of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And I was very interested because, at least aesthetically, it has a very interesting look, combining cartoons with anime, specifically Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy has always looked great, generally. I'm not too much into the old chibi designs of original Final Fantasy, but the later Final Fantasies definitely kind of grew up in a way, and Final Fantasy VII through even now, all of them just fantastic looking, because it's very anime. And so having that aesthetic, I was very interested in seeing it because it has that kind of anime-ish take on decorating every character with a suit of cards, like clubs and diamonds, and particularly hearts for Kingdom Hearts. And so there's a lot of symbolism involved, very simple surface level symbolism, and it just looks good. There are things about it that look intriguing, like the Heartless. It's like that concept of the Heartless is very intriguing as well. It all comes from Final Fantasy sensibilities, I think, in which those themes of darkness and light and evil and the soul, very anime themes, come out very strong, but they are simplified to heck because of the age demographic that it's catering to. And so with Disney characters being melded with the Final Fantasy universe, it doesn't make any sense narratively, and it totally breaks the tone of the game and the aesthetic of the game into two. Seeing cartoon Mickey in 3D wearing a hooded black leather trench coat is absolutely insane, and it's kind of lovable because it's willing to do such weird and stupid things, and kind of like me wearing these goggles, and it's very charming in that way, but it's reprehensible in the way that voice acting has been utilized ever since Kingdom Hearts 1. The sub probably is better, like listening to it in Japanese voice acting, but you can't help the writing. The writing is always terrible. Nevertheless, those are my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts. This has got me thinking about the hack and slash genre of games in general, because what I enjoy about looking at the actual game, not just advertisements, is the actual gameplay, with the Keyblade and all of that sort of thing. I didn't want to play it originally because I thought that the cartoon essence of the Disney characters would mean that there would be absolutely no violence. And as a child, I was all about violence. I wanted kicking, fighting, slashing, that sort of thing, and I still do. That's what I enjoy in video games. And I hadn't seen any gameplay, but having Mickey hitting something, or Goofy, or Donald Duck shooting and hitting things seemed rather backwards. I didn't understand that was happening. But with Sora swinging around his Keyblade, it's very much Devil May Cry ish. And not very many combos, but the combos that do exist remind one of something like Devil May Cry or God of War. A random hack and slash feeling is imputed to this whole thing, probably because of obviously the Final Fantasy influence. And I always loved hack and slash games, particularly because the first one that I played was The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers for PlayStation 2. That's what it was called. Just Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. It was the official movie game release, and it was a hack and slash. You just started off in the Mines of Moria, where the first battle takes place. No, wait. It starts on Weathertop, and you play as Aragorn, and you fight the riders, the Black Riders, and it was fun as heck. Very responsive, very quick, flashy, and yeah, it was very visceral. You could do visceral attacks by parrying, much like you can in Dark Souls. And parrying has always been a mechanic in hack and slash, and it definitely was utilized in that game, and I loved that game to pieces. You're just hacking and slashing through hundreds, maybe even thousands of goblins and orcs, and basically every enemy that you see in Lord of the Rings. And you level up your character after every level. I think there were only like 14 levels total, but the levels were very difficult, and you could unlock a lot of crazy combos and magic and arrows and things to use. And it was just a lot of fun, a lot of really crazy, violent fun, good Christian violence, and I loved it to pieces. And then I played the sequel, which was, of course, Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, and that was a little more floaty, a little easier to play, and didn't feel as visceral as the original. All that to say, that's where I started off with hack and slash games. Later on, I found DMC, and I had seen same thing, ads for Devil May Cry back when I was a child, but I never played it because it was obviously mature and above my age range, and my parents never bought anything for me that was above my age range. But I didn't play Kingdom Hearts, so the only hack and slash games I played were Lord of the Rings games. Until Ghost Rider came out, and I played Ghost Rider, the movie, the game, and that was just straight ripoff of Devil May Cry. And I loved that too. It was definitely a ripoff, didn't have a whole lot to it. There weren't that many combos, and there wasn't much you could do in the environments, and it was very fuzzy graphically, but it had those exact same elements of Devil May Cry. It was great. But herein lies the issue. Nowadays, I'm looking for a game that is hack and slashy like Kingdom Hearts 3, with maybe some RPG elements like Kingdom Hearts 3, but I don't want to play Kingdom Hearts 3 because it looks like a pile of sewage. There are so many things about it that go against good game design conventions. And it looks really difficult to play, not because of any sort of difficulty that they put into the game, but because the controls seem really wacky. They're constantly throwing new things at you, and there's no actual difficulty. You have tons of health. Very rarely will you actually die to anything. And the camera is all over the place. If you're fighting these giant monsters and your camera is sitting hooked into them, so you can only see the inside of the monster and you can't see yourself, and then you do these massive, just huge finishing moves that take up the whole screen, and it's just like, oh, colors, and that's one of the better things about Kingdom Hearts is the aesthetic and the colors. The colors are very strong. But so I'm looking for something now that is like a Devil May Cry, but isn't Devil May Cry. Because Devil May Cry 5 also just released, and it looks pretty darn good. I've been watching streams of that as well. and I want to play it, but it is so edgy, so violent, so every female is hypersexualized, and I would say objectified, even if they are strong female characters. And I cannot abide it. I'd love to play it, but I can't morally. I just can't go through with it. I can't go through with buying a game like that and playing it when the women are so sexual. And obviously, it's fan service. It's not very realistic at all. I know that these types of people do exist in the world, but it's like, I want there to be a level of respect, self-respect, and propriety in clothing. That's why I dress the way I do. Even if there is a bit of eccentricity to what people actually do wear. And I don't think everyone ought to wear, like, there need not be any mandate for proper clothing, but I wish that the culture could change, and I am starting it myself. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's why I wear suits and things. So yeah, I cannot morally justify playing any of the DMC games, even though they are the basis for the best mechanics in the hack and slash genre. Basically, it redefined what they were, first off, in the PS1 generation, but then continues to define to this day what is good in a hack and slash game. I also played, what was it? Is it Chaos something? Chaos, what is it? Chaos Trigger? Chaos... Anyway, there was a PS2 game that I really loved, and that was a hack and slash, and I tried playing it on Chaos Legion. That's what it is. Sorry. Flew my mind, the coop of my mind for a bit, but I got it back. So yeah, I actually really enjoyed Chaos Legion. It's really difficult to play. The difficulty is really high. And the controls and mechanics are very strange, but once you get into it, it's really engaging. And I like it for the same reason I like Dark Souls. You die a lot, but there's always a way to beat it, and it's more dependent upon your own skill than just, being really high level. So I want there to be more hack and slash games that are not necessarily rated M. And if they are rated M for mature, maybe just rated M for violence, if they have to be rated M at all. Because that's why I love Bloodborne. It's very violent, but there's absolutely nothing sexual in it. And I'd recommend Bloodborne and Dark Souls. They're all hack and slash games. And I get a lot of enjoyment out of that. But it's not the same type of hack and slash as Devil May Cry or Kingdom Hearts or any of those sorts of games. And there's just a major lack of hack and slash games in the teen or E for Everyone ratings, because of course it is violence. In Kingdom Hearts, I already stated that there is kind of this contradiction in themes of like love and friendship and then beating the crap out of the Heartless. Although that, that's justifiable as well, because the Heartless are no longer people, and they're just basically destructive demons, and you just have to get rid of those things. There are certain things in life that you actually need to kill, in order to survive. There's priorities in life. So I'm not a pacifist. So that's okay. But yeah, I'm just looking for something that is a great hack and slash game that is also not morally reprehensible. And it's difficult to find specifically because Devil May Cry is exactly the game that informs what a good hack and slash is. And it was rated M for mature, rated R if you, conflate the film and gaming rating systems. From the beginning, there's a outline of a sexy girl with guns on the front of the Devil May Cry title screen. And it's stylish, and it's definitely like hearkening back to kind of a 007 ish feeling, where it's like, yeah, this guy is kind of a jerk and he's a total ladies' man, but he's cool, not in spite of those, but also because of those things. That he's a drinker, smoker, killer, and really good at what he does, and is a total lady killer. So yeah, curse you, Devil May Cry. You're too good. So yeah, that's really all I had to say. And this continues to be the case. Things like God of War, definitely influenced by Devil May Cry. Darksiders, I'm a little more okay with Darksiders because you're fighting zombies and monsters most of the time. Of course, you're ripping hearts out and crushing them. It's very adult as well. And that's why I want to play. I know there is the new Darksiders 3 game, and that's just hack and slash. And I'm very much interested to play that as well. But of course, it'll be $60 right off the bat. And I'll have to wait for a while until it's actually affordable. So at least there's something on the horizon for me to play that will be in this genre. But it is so dominated by M ratings and sexual content that it's really difficult for anyone like me, or who is even a child, to actually play something that is really well done, unlike Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, that's really all I had to say. This has been just me kind of processing my feelings on the hack and slash genre. And I also know that the PlayStation 4 is on its last legs as a console. People are actually wanting to make the PS5, and there are rumors coming around that the PS5 will come out next year, and that's just insane because there is definitely a big lack of games coming out for the PS4 and these big consoles like the Xbox One, whereas they haven't hit their stride in how many games they could possibly have. They've come out very sparingly, and so many of the AAA games that have come out are generally failures. I'm talking about you, EA, Ubisoft, and not failures from a monetary standpoint, but just critically speaking. And you can like whatever you want. I know that a lot of people loved the Ubisoft games that have come out, or even the EA games, but from a critical perspective, there are a lot of ways in which they have failed. Fallout 76, Anthem now is kind of a critical failure, and not really breaking any new ground. And so, yeah, even indie games like Senua's Sacrifice, rated M, and hack and slash. So, yeah, let me know in the comments if there are any other games kind of like Darksiders 3 or Devil May Cry games that are actually good and not morally reprehensible. I don't know if anyone cares, but I do. And this has been a discussion video by me. And let me know if you have any other suggestions for topics for me to talk about. Thanks for watching. Till next time, farewell.